the search for happiness and pleasure is the most fruitless search of a human life. And it is the single most critical reason why a human being lives in suffering.
Because we're searching for constantly trying to seek happiness.
Well, you don't even have to be constant, but yes. But you're right, it is constant. Happiness and pleasure, both the same.
Yep. And away from the other, the opposite.
Sure.
Right? The fear and all of that.
Yes. A chase for pleasure and an aversion for pain. And if you hear that and you think to yourself, the moment that you think to yourself that, yes, I must stop doing that, you're done. Because you're doing it again. Because the only reason that you would even want to stop searching for pleasure and stop running from pain is because you want happiness. You want once again the same thing.
When you think about when you wrote about the beautiful discourse that you wrote about self-image, did you consider your own self-image at all when you were writing?
Oh, how do we know about the world? How do we know about any human being? We know it through ourselves. So the person who examines himself to the utmost degree is the person who knows all human beings.
So can you give me a contrast between what Kapil Gupta's self-image was 10 years ago and perhaps what it is now?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of comparing self-images. I think it's much more what matures over time is seriousness and sincerity. And as we grow older, we begin to see the folly of things. Depending upon how one is wired, we begin to see the foolishness and the silliness of the things that happen in life, and moving through life, and all the events that happen in life, and how we think about things. And so as we begin to look into those things and see the foolishness of it, and to see the holes and the falsehoods of them, then we begin to, or at least I began to examine the nature of the self. So it wasn't about me having a better self. It was examining into the nature of what a human being really is, and what are the source of all problems. So it's much more a movement away from self in the direction of, this is going to come out the wrong way, but selflessness, but has nothing to do with what you believe to be selflessness, because there's nothing but self in selflessness in the traditional meaning of selflessness.
And are you at a point now where there is no self-image?
It's really, it's a fair question, but I think that for me even to answer it would be to fall for a trap, because if I was to say...
It isn't a trap.
No, it isn't. You aren't posing it as a trap, but it is a trap for me to walk into it, because if I say, yes, I have no self, that is a contradiction in terms. So let us just be sincere and honest and leave it at, I am devoted to examining the falsehoods of the self and to see the outer boundaries of those falsehoods in order to discover truth.
And then when that happens, is that when the dependency on others and the dependency on your team and society and all just you don't give a damn about it anymore?
I think when you begin to see through things, and you begin to see around corners, and you begin to see the falsehood in things that you used to believe were true, then the things that you see as false automatically begin to fall away. There is no added step of making them fall away. So there is no real detachment. It is that when you see that something is false, one automatically disengages, not by any conscious effort, but just because it's false. And the second that it's noted to be false and one deeply seeks truth, then the disengagement happens all by itself. So everything happens by itself. Anything that you must do by volition and an intentional effort and interference is false.
So you don't call the work that you're doing on yourself effort? Like
No,
when you ask
no,
yourself,
absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's sort of like moving through a jungle, and you're not trying to build anything. You're simply looking at the jungle. You're simply trying to figure out how the jungle is arranged, and if these trees are real or not. And if you pass your hand through the trunk, does your hand pass through, or does it get caught on the trunk? So it really is an examination and exploration which is completely and utterly not prescriptive. It is not a conscious observing or an intentional, I will watch my thoughts. All those things are a complete moving towards prescription and moving away from truth. So absolutely not. I would not call it effort. I would not call it practice by any means.
do you consciously sit down every day and
No, I don't consciously do anything. It's just where I live. Like if you live in Los Angeles, do you consciously try to live in Los Angeles every day? It's just where you live. It's where you. It's your home. There's never. It's never not there. There's no. I will take time out from my schedule now to sit. There is no schedule. This is all that exists for me, and there's no reason. I mean, I even hesitate saying that because there's no reason to think that's great or anything. It's nothing. We are. I'm not a good person because I happen to be devoted to discovering the truth about life. That wasn't my choice.
But I know a whole lot of people who follow you who would like to discover that truth, who look at it as really hard work. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, that is the problem, but looking at that being the problem is also the problem, because as soon as you say that's the problem, then you're going to try to move away from that problem. And as soon as you do, you run into a wall.
So what's a better way to look at it?
Well, is to be genuine, is to understand that you will never go anywhere else but where you are. You want to be here, or you're standing here and you want to be over there. Well, the only way to get over there is by understanding where you first are. And human beings are not taught that. They are taught to run over there and to do this, and this to get over there. Well, the more they do this, and this, it just gets them to the this, and this. So wherever you go, you can only go from where you are.
Yeah, and I guess people have to really understand that so they can go there.